My name is Joe Gratta. I went here through middle school for 7th and 8th grade about 17 years ago now. That's when I graduated. I'm now the CEO of Atlantic Mechanical. I'm a practicing attorney and since received my JD, my MBA, and I owe a lot of who I am right now and even who I plan to be later in the future to having been through this place and what it's done for my confidence, my personality, allowing me to develop in a way that during very key pivotal years in a way that made me feel good about being me. And that's a really, really essential piece of success for the rest of your life.
And did you find that, and not just with your law path, because clearly you have a lot of other things going on.
Yeah.
So did you find that your foundation of Inly, but obviously then it was TMCS, helped you get to where you are and do the things that you're pursuing?
No question about it. Like I said, being able to feel comfortable in your own skin, being you, being the things that some of the students will get done at 11 and 12 years old are things that most people wouldn't even trust them to do at 17 or 18. No question. So when I walked into Norwell High, which is where I went afterwards, and then on to college then, and even in my professional environment now, you're not afraid to take on challenges. You're not afraid to sort of go deep and have a little more faith in yourself and what you're capable of doing. You don't get held back by a lack of confidence when you step into the room with some C-suite people who are very important, and you're just accustomed to treating everybody as equals, and you're just accustomed to feeling confident in who you are and what you're trying to accomplish because you believe in what you're doing. That's something that you get from being here, and even being here right now, just revisiting this campus, I feel renewed. I can't wait to go back to work right now, and just walking around and seeing how excited these kids are about what it is that they're doing. It's incredible. It was through me, it's through my discomfort that we found this wonderful school, and within about 3 or 4 months, not only did I open up, I found a really important side of me that I think I would not have come across on its own before that. By the time I got to the end, I was the person who hosted, I was the MC of the talent show. Half the staff here was convinced I was going to be a stand-up comedian, and so was I, actually, for a little while. And it was the confidence was something that you take with you everywhere you go. Now, of course, it's going to be different than a regular school, that traditional grading system where you can sort of assign a number to learning. But
does that hold you back, though?
Absolutely no. So it's beneficial because the knowledge you're taking from here isn't just a series of facts that you're memorizing and putting back out there, which is most of what school is, and then you forget it afterwards. Law school, very similar. You just sort of lose it afterwards. Here you learn how to learn, and that's a much more important skill, because when you understand what it is that your mind is good at, what your mind retains, how to get your mind to retain information, how to reuse information, how to take an idea and start from the very beginning and then develop that into something else. It doesn't matter what the process is to get it there. What matters is that you understand that there are things that you can build yourself. In traditional school, you learn just this linear way to do things, and that's the only way to do things. Mm-hmm. And there's no alternative. If anything steps in the way, you stop and you look up and you hope somebody tells you how to fix it. Here, you solve all your problems on your own, and you get really good at solving all your problems on your own, and you get really excited about solving all your problems on your own, about developing solutions, about following through with these really creative ideas. And it's just walking through this place, you can kind of see all these kids that believe in everything that they're doing, and that's something you won't get anywhere else, and that's something that's much, much more important than the 7 vocabulary words you memorize Monday morning. Inly to me was more sort of a mosaic, a collage of a bunch of different experiences. There isn't one that completely embodies it, but like I said, I went from being tremendously shy to hosting being the MC for the first variety show. I think we were the first class to ever do it. They were the first one to develop the middle school paper. I was part of a rather revolutionary class. We got a lot of stuff done. And let me see, I gave not to brag, but I gave a dynamite speech at my graduation. It was very good. I actually remember specifically thanking Debbie for always having candy on the radio every time I came by. But, I got a lot of laughs. I had a great time. It really capped off the entirety of my experience there. And it was both sad and heartwarming to have spent all that time and come to the end and sort of see, like, ready to go on to the next stage of my life, which is something that I didn't think I'd ever be in a position to do, especially coming from, having moved and switched schools, the 2 times, and then ready to switch again. I was actually ready to switch again, as opposed to being stricken by fear. That is my biggest takeaway, I think, is sitting there at graduation day and being very proud of who I was, because that was really what you got from graduating here. It's who you are that you get from graduation. It's not a piece of paper, it's not grades, it's none of that stuff. I'm very pleased with the product of the human that I am in becoming.